Well now, that end of this chapter of Bleach, chapter 670 to be exact. Hitsugaya has matured, and he didn't just mature, he literally became an adult. That final page is like, whoa. Hitsugaya, when all his petals finally disappeared, his Bankai matured. And I just gotta say right now, when it comes to his design, let's just talk about the design of Hitsugaya in his mature form, his adult form to be exact. I'm curious if this form is only going to be, to his Bankai, like it's going to be connected to his Bankai to where when he enters Bankai, he's going to look like this. Or if he, leaves Bankai state, he'll, power down and look like he normally does. I'm very curious exactly how this form is going to kind of be in the future. For instance, is this the permanent look of Hitsugaya from now on? Or is this just temporary until, he powers down from Bankai? I'm very curious about that design when it comes to that, or, Kubo's decision in the future when it comes to his character's appearance. Now, actually getting into the design, first things first, right off the bat, I gotta say the design of Hitsugaya reminds me a lot of Ichigo. Like, I honestly mistaken Hitsugaya for Ichigo. His face, the structure of his face and all that, it reminds me a lot of Ichigo. Now, I'm not gonna say that, some characters don't look alike and some other characters and all that, so yeah. But still, when it comes to Hitsugaya's design, it reminded me a lot of Ichigo, and I almost mistaken him, because I was half asleep. I woke up, and I read this chapter, and I saw, like, what the fuck, is that Ichigo? And I realized the ice and shit. I'm like, oh shit, that's fucking, Hitsugaya. He just became a damn adult. And so, yeah, I bet all the Hitsugaya fans right now are probably just jumping for joy, because you can no longer make short jokes about him. You can't make fun of him, call him short and stuff like that, little tiny. He is now a big adult. That's exactly what Hitsugaya is now. So, pretty funny when it comes to that regard. Now, besides that, when it comes to the other content of the chapter, there's not really much dialogue going on, to be honest. I mean, majority of the chapter, about 90 to 80% of the chapter, is pretty much fighting and panels just, progressing the fights, panel by panel. But for the most part, when it came to dialogue standpoint, there really wasn't much to really go on. But it's self-explanatory when it comes to the chapter. And pretty much when you see the fight raging on between Kenpachi versus the Miracle Man, something happens. And this event that happens, it makes me hype, but it irks me a bit, which I will get into in a second. But I want to talk about the design of the Miracle Man before I get into Kenpachi's, situation. So the design of him, when it comes to the metal mask, like, face structure he has on him, and the way his hair looks now and all that, and design of his, structure of his body, I like the way he looks. Honestly, I love his design. I expected something wacky and crazy when it comes to, Kubo. When he, has his Quincy's transform, he does some crazy shit. So, I expected something off the wall similar to Chicken Lily, and that did not happen. So, yeah, a little bit surprised on that end, but also I do like the design of him. I have no problem with the new design. His height is fucking ridiculous, and yeah, I'm interested to see what else he can possibly do and how he's going to fight Hitsugaya with his new adult form. Now, getting back onto the Kenpachi thing. So, Kenpachi, he's fighting, and majority of the fight, or actually the entire fight with Kenpachi after releasing his Bankai, it's been one-sided. I mean, you have it to where Miracle Man, he can't do shit. Kenpachi's just fucking wrecking him, destroying him, kicking his ass, and, I mean, look, last week Kenpachi broke his fucking arm off by biting his fist and just twisting his head a little bit, and the entire arm came off. So, Kenpachi has the strength. He has the feats to be able to beat the Miracle Man in terms of strength. And the thing is in this chapter, Kenpachi falls. He goes down. And this is the part that makes me hype, but irks me. See, Kenpachi, we found out that the reason why his arm broke like it did, like it started ripping, was because his body cannot handle the power. He cannot handle the power that his Bankai is exerting, and this makes sense, because, I mean, this is his first time using Bankai. So, as his first time using Bankai, of course he's not going to be able to handle it completely. So, it makes relative sense when it comes to Bleach, because there has been other cases of this in the past of Bleach, when Bankais were revealed. So, I have no issue when it comes to that regard. Kenpachi, his body not being able to take the Bankai. Fine. And also that lets us know that he was not even at maximum power. In that entire fight, he was not even at his limit. He was not. And Yachiru was the one that was maintaining his power. So that was a really cool aspect of this chapter, which some might have missed. But Yachiru was the one that was actually supplying the power to Kenpachi and kind of talking with him. So in the entire fight, when Kenpachi seemed like a raging demon and he wasn't really talking at all, apparently, he had to have been having a conversation with Yachiru the entire time, because Yachiru's, like, right there talking with him in the middle of the fight, and so it makes us assume that he still has consciousness, like, he can think still, but he probably only listens to Yachiru. They probably have, like, this weird bond, since, you know, Yachiru's a little bit different from what we've seen from other Zanpakuto, since she was, like, in physical form, with Chikai and stuff. It's just very complicated stuff that needs to be explained, but still, the main point is that Yachiru and Kenpachi's relationship, it's a little bit different from what we have seen from other different examples, but seeing how Yachiru is kind of maintaining this and giving him power, I like that. I really like that style of it, and how she's the one that's kind of supplying the power and has to figure out what he can take. And at this time, Kenpachi cannot take the max. We don't even know how far Yachiru went with the power, so there's a possibility maybe she only went 50%. We had no idea. So, on the other note of him actually falling and losing, Kenpachi did not lose necessarily to the Miracle Boy. He didn't go down, he wasn't curb stomped by him. Even though there was an attack that hit Kenpachi and it completely cut off his entire arm if you look at the panel, still the point is Kenpachi, he fell. And I don't know how to feel about this, because, I mean, I wanted Kenpachi to be able to take this out, because, I mean, after all the hype with his Bankai and shit, the build-up, and then he falls like this, it upsets me. It still builds the hype, because, like I said, we found out he hasn't reached his limit. That's fine. But what irks me is he was done in by his own self, very similar to how Grimmy was. And that disgusts me a little bit. When I'm thinking of that fight, I'm like, yeah. So, that's my only issue with the chapter. Thinking about the Grimmy fight and how that relates to this chapter, I'm like, ooh. That was not one of my favorite fights of Bleach, especially at the start. Definitely not one of my favorites. And so, yeah. When it comes to the situation with Hitsugaya, I know there's, you know, different split on the community, fan base and stuff. Some hate Hitsugaya, some love Hitsugaya, and I'm more neutral ground. I don't give a shit on, you know, if you love him or you hate him. But I will say, however, hopefully, Kenpachi being kind of tossed to the side just a little bit, hopefully Hitsugaya is able to actually kick some ass and show off some great skill. I hope he really does that for everyone's sake. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or nights wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.